everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Daddy Daughter Dishes. I'm your host, Kiara, and with me I have my lovely co host.
BJ, the dad.
He is the dad, I am the daughter, and this is Daddy Daughter Dishes. Dad, we are on episode 10.
I know, right? Like episode 10, man. That's an awesome feat, isn't it?
I would say so. That's consistency.
It's
10
consistency.
episodes. Oof.
What's shaking with you today?
Uh, what's shaking? A lot of. I don't. This is a podcast that we have where it's me and you talking. So I will be honest. I am
Yeah.
not. I don't say I'm in a terrible headspace, but I'm not in the best. Like it could be worse, but it also could be way
Mm-hmm.
better. Like I'm sitting on the
All right.
midway point, so I'm like dealing with that. But it's actually was a good day, somewhat. I We had our team lunch today to kind of celebrate our wins from Q1 because we had a pretty good quarter and a line. So we went on a team lunch. This really nice restaurant called Firebird, and they had some honey balsamic
Mm-hmm.
chicken. First of all,
All
they
right.
had Philly cheesesteak egg rolls
Hold up now.
and lobster
Philly
bisque.
cheesesteak. Hold up now. Let's
Yeah.
stop for a
Okay.
second. You
Rewind.
said Philly cheesesteak egg roll.
Yes. With
Now that
I
I
know,
ain't never had that before.
I know, right? I said, and it come with some Thai like sweet and sour sauce stuff, and I'm like, fill the cheesesteak, like egg roll and sweet and sour sauce go together. Yes, but Philly cheese egg
Right.
roll that sounds like some cultural appropriation. But Daddy, when I bit into that thing, I said, you know
Took you
what?
somewhere, didn't
I can turn a blind eye to this for this time. I can ignore what's actually going on here to appreciate this. But I mean that was delicious. And then they had lobster bisque, uh like spinach and artichoke dip. It was like lobster bisque
you?
dip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, and it was good. I didn't even really eat my lunch. I just kind of ate the appetizers, and I was content because that lobster bisque was pretty much all mine.
So the Philly steak egg roll on site, that sounds delicious.
And
I would
was
absolutely love to try that. Minus the sweet and sour sauce.
no, no,
Like
no, but you would have to.
um
That added a really
I don't have to
good
try it with
taste.
and without it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
You
know.
put it on the
We'll see.
side, but it was like a weird aftertaste. Like you would eat the Philly cheese part, and then you would just get like
Hmm.
a little zing of like sweetness, and
Yeah,
it was
see.
a
I
nice
don't need that with my
bow.
Philly cheesesteak.
You don't think you do,
All right.
but yeah. Other than
What
that,
else you
it was
got?
good. It rained today. It's been raining all day long. And so, just trying to stay above water, keep my head above water. So I'm doing all right. How about you?
That's that's good. Um, let's see. How am I feeling? Just I mean, like right before we started recording, I just got off a therapy session. So uh, it wasn't heavy at all. We talked about some good things going on in my life. One being recording this podcast with you. Um, it's just something that when we talked about this before, something that I look forward to doing every week. Um, I don't know if it gives me a sense of purpose every week, but it's just been a joy to do it. And I hope that we continue to put out the goodness to whip the cream, add these ingredients, whip everything up, and put out this good product to the people. I'm in a good space, man. Like, we got the weekend coming up. It's my weekend to be with Mari. Looking forward to that. Today as we're recording this is your Uncle Bob's 53rd birthday.
Woo!
I think it's his 53rd. Yeah, I
Beep.
ain't told him
Shout
happy
out to
birthday.
Uncle
He was
Bob.
a little
You
mad
ain't
at me,
tell him
but
happy birthday?
shout out to Junior. No, I ain't tell him happy
I
birthday.
told him.
He got on.
Today is also Lamia's
He,
birthday.
is it?
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday, Lamia.
She turns
Two good people
24.
right there.
Yes, two very good people.
24.
Mm-hmm.
I
Would you
think
believe
Junior
she's the
40. I
baby
mean
in my group?
53.
My friend group, me, her, and Bree.
Well, when you said she turned 24, I kind of thought she must be the youngest one because you already 24.
But can
And I
you
don't know how
like
old Bree is
Bree?
exactly.
If you've ever seen us three like together, like if you would have asked some people from school who they thought the baby was, they would probably either say me or Bree. They would definitely not say. Look, everybody be thinking Lamia the oldest, and it was so funny in college. Like she was like, "Yeah, I turned 21 soon, so I can actually legally drink." And I was like, "What do you mean legally?" I said, "What you're not 21?" She's like, "No." I said,
I've been contributing to the minor getting liquored up.
I've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, run amok. But yeah,
I didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth
Plymouth
Rock
Rock
landed
landed
on
on
me.
me. But yeah, you would say Uncle Bob made you mad. You wanna talk your feelings out about that?
No, he made me mad. He just, it's your Uncle Bob.
Yeah.
So I mean, I ain't gonna go into detail. Me and him got to have that conversation face to face first.
Ooh.
But
He said,
yeah,
let me see you in the streets,
he Uncle
Robert
Bob. That's
Jr.
all he is Uncle Bob. I say that about my brother. He get under my skin, and I guess that's what brothers do. But then, when I need something done, because I'm working away from home,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I ain't been getting no mail for whatever reason. I tried to call the post office. They give you this damn 800 number. Why can't the Ullin, Illinois post office just give me a direct line to the Ullin, Illinois post office? We got 400 people in the damn town. Just let me talk to the person at the damn post office to find out why I ain't getting no damn mail.
Yep.
Just tick me off. So
Preach.
I say that to say this. My brother, he irks my nerves sometimes, but when I need him, he comes through. So I called him today. Actually, yesterday we talked. He went by the post office. They wouldn't give him no information. So when I talked to him today, he just so happened to be riding through town, and he went in there and talked to the lady, and he got my mail. Found out that they were been holding my mail because the damn snow trucks back in the wintertime hit my damn mailbox.
Mm.
They knocked it over, and they went out and they call themselves fixing it. That's a whole nother damn issue. They call themselves fixing it, but it wasn't up to spec. So
Up
since it
to
wasn't up to
spec.
spec,
Oh,
yeah,
you
they
got
got a
an
spec for
HOA now?
mailboxes along the side.
Let me find out. Y'all got
Yeah,
a
I know. It
VOA,
ain't no
a
damn
Village
HOA.
Owners Association.
It's just a pain in the ass. But
Wait,
they
wait, 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 wait,
didn't put
wait,
it back up.
wait. Is this
What?
the same mailbox
What?
that your nephew?
Absolutely. Yes. It is the same mailbox that my nephew uh took out one
Smack.
night when he was
Ooh.
hey man, that's one reason I didn't really want to get rid of that mailbox. That thing got some history.
It's got
That
some.
thing been
I'll
ran
never
over by,
forget. I will never
I
forget
think he was
the.
in a car.
Yes, he was in a car and he was driving back, and he wasn't gonna say that he hit it. But then we found out somebody had hit it, so I tweeted or put on Snapchat or something, and I was like, "Not somebody hit our mailbox," and he responded and was like, "That was me." And we were just so happened to go into their house like for breakfast or something that day. And I was like, man, that was you. He said, yeah, man, I ain't mean I'll buy you a new one. I'll buy y'all a new one.
Yeah,
It wasn't on purpose. I was like, goodness gracious.
yeah. That mailbox been through some. It done had a time or
Look,
two. It done had a time or
it
two.
got a little hump in the side. It's got
No, it ain't.
scoliosis.
It ain't. It ain't got. it doesn't have anything. When I get home tomorrow this weekend, I have to put up a new mailbox because I guess Uncle Bob was cutting the grass yesterday and he hit it, and
Oh,
he said he looked back and it was just laying on the ground like it
oh,
that was it. It had had enough,
him and his
and
son need
so
to
I
pitch
gotta.
in and get you a new mailbox.
No, it ain't him and his son. Dadgum, it's the dadgum Illinois Department of Transportation. Need the highway department. IDOT
I
need to
got,
go. They need to replace my damn mailbox because they hit it with the salt truck
yep.
and call themselves going out there. They half-ass fixed it, and it ain't been really been right since then. But I'm gonna fix my mailbox, and I'm gonna, we gonna move on with life, sons of bitches.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Can't dwell too much
But
on the
yeah,
small things.
my other than that, my day, man, look, hey, it's been raining here too. We were supposed to rain all day, but it didn't. We got what we call a company rain. So
What that is.
the forecast said it was going to be raining starting this morning, and it was going to increase throughout the day. So we got to worked what little bit of work we did today, and it started raining when we was getting ready to get off work.
Mm,
That's why we call it a company rain.
mm, that sounds. I would be mad. Finna get off work here. Great clouds. Like, yeah, where was you at 12 hours ago?
Yeah, most of us do that.
Well, since it's like raining and stuff, have you had a chance to catch up on Snowfall?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
I
finished it?
So let me tell you, I watched the episode before the final episode, thinking that that was the final episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I was confused. I was talking to hair and makeup about the episode. I was like, and then she sent me a picture of Franklin looking all jacked up in the white. I'm like, where that must have been from an earlier episode because I don't ever remember Franklin looking like that. And she was like, that was from the last episode. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back and look because apparently I done missed out on something. So
Yeah.
I end up watching the final episode, and man, what's your
Daddy,
thoughts about
I was pissed off. So it was I had such a relationship with Franklin in my heart. Like I know him. That's
it?
my
Yeah,
friend. He out there hustling. And I was so
right.
jaded by the fact that this was TV and I wanted him to have his perfect ending. But what I forget is that sometimes the
Mm.
creative producers and the people behind the storytelling of the show don't want to give you that happy ending. And it just so happened that the people working on Snowfall are those kinds of people. And so as the episode is progressing, I'm like, he got money somewhere. Like he gonna get it. Then it was like 2 years later, and I see him, and then I said, "No, no!" Like I was crying.
Hey, man.
I was so I usually talk when we watch Snowfall. Like I be commenting. I was silent that whole episode. I was so pissed off. I said, Franklin, you could have sold that downtown property. There was so you had so, but you was being so greedy.
She did sell it, didn't she?
She remember when he came and he offered him the first time, and he was like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
here to give you an offer, and he was like, I'm not for sale. Franklin
Mm-hmm.
didn't sell it. I'm saying he could have.
Franklin didn't sell it.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah. I'm saying, like, if he wouldn't have been being so prideful, he could have been like, yeah, what's the offer? But
So
you saw what
he
song
was.
played at the end too. Well, you might not have known, but the song that played at the last scene was "Pride" by Kendrick Lamar on his Damn album, and that's where he talks about
So
pride.
so it was so many emotional things that overtook Franklin that prevented him from getting that happy ending from where I sit. First of all, you got to take into consideration what his his occupation had been
Yeah,
throughout the whole show.
yep. He was a
You know,
certified
and
street pharmacist.
the havoc it caused throughout that city and that community.
Yeah,
as much as a fan of Franklin as I was,
It was the reality.
you can't forget that.
No, you can't.
You can't forget that he's dealing with the CIA
Yeah.
as the plug, a rogue CIA agent as that at that.
Hmm.
So when that when Teddy took that $73 million, that set Franklin on a path of
No
rage and
return.
revenge of no return. And in my eyes, it's like that thing I used to tell you growing up. When money is your main motivator, you gotta be careful because you will set yourself up to do any and everything to get your hands on a dollar.
And wasn't he
That's
willing
just
to
one of
do
my
any and everything? Man shot
any
peaches.
and everything.
He shot peaches.
Peach's ass needed to be shot.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
still.
talking about yeah, yeah, dog. It's in the safe. And then go try to shoot him, and your ass in there. Peaches had AIDS, was on heroin,
Look,
and was a thief.
they didn't make him look like too much of a drug, because his teeth was still looking real good. I said that looked like an Invisalign promotion, not showing
But did you see his goddamn boyfriend who came in there
peaches.
to call
Peaches.
Peaches? Peaches!
Frank said, but
Get your ass out. Boop, boop, boop. Get
look,
your ass out of here.
he didn't have to kill Miguel. He didn't have to kill
Yeah,
Miguel.
he did.
No, he
Yeah, he did.
didn't.
Miguel had to go too.
Miguel was
He
not gonna
had to
tell.
go too because Miguel was gonna go right to the point. Well, he had that $12,000. He probably could have let him walk,
They could have let him
but he,
walk.
he at the yeah he could. He could have let
I
him
said,
walk.
no, he not.
So what you
No, he not. He
what you think
didn't.
about what you think about Sissy's actions?
I'm so sick of Sissy. I look. Have you seen The Wire?
I used to watch The Wire when it first came on, but I
Okay, so
I
you
can't.
you might remember she was also the guy's mom. She was what's his
No.
name? What's the dude's name? Um, she was it wasn't Wallace. Oh, give me 2 seconds. She was ah, who?
Omar?
Hold on. Nah, not
I
Omar,
don't
not
know.
Omar. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna pull it up. Rats.
That's probably a series I need to go back and watch.
I just finished it myself, and it is a absolutely it's a masterpiece. It is a
Yeah.
masterpiece. But
Like I
she
said, I
went.
used to watch it when it first came on, but I didn't I didn't continue watching it.
That's what I hear from a lot of people. I wonder if it was like one of those things that like
I feel
aged
like it
well.
came I feel like it came on and then it might have like had a hiatus
Uh huh.
and then it came back. That's the way I feel because I feel like I used to watch it and then it stopped and then I just never started back. I could be wrong on that, but that's just how I feel.
Hmm.
But while you looking for this name, I'm gonna talk about Sissy.
Yeah, talk about her ass because I
I've
got
heard
some.
so
Oof.
I've heard and seen so many opinions about Sissy and how she was messed up for doing what she did.
Nah, please don't
Uh,
cap for sis. Don't. D'Angelo.
I'm not going.
She was
I'm not okay.
D'Angelo's
D'Angelo.
mama, and she to sum up what I was saying, she had him in prison off some dumb mistakes. So I ain't like Sissy
She
since
did.
The Wire.
She did it for his own good.
Yeah,
But Sissy, I don't know. Sissy, did she do it to protect Franklin?
no,
Why couldn't she wait like 10 seconds before shooting Teddy? Let him do the password and then shoot him. What was her motivation?
I don't
She said she
know.
was protecting Franklin. She
I
was
don't.
doing it for his own good.
I don't believe that now. 1 second, because let me pick my point with Sissy. She has this whole okay. So like watching Snowfall. She had a certain way about her, a certain je ne sais quoi. And this season, after Alton went to prison, in her mind, she just she all of a sudden is pro black, fight the power, the government, fuck the CIA, fuck everybody. She was not like that the whole, and it just felt so forced, especially last season going into this season where she was like, I'm gonna take the CIA down. Are you with me, Franklin? Like it felt so performative. And I'm like, okay, we get it. We get it. But here you are. You've been living off your drug dealing kingpin son. So like how we
Running his businesses. Like,
yeah, funneling his drug money. So are you
when did you wake up and find Jesus?
right,
Is the question.
right.
You
So
just as guilty as everybody else.
and that's she's
You know
she's
what
not
I do want to
consistent.
know?
What?
You know what I am interested to see when it starts back? And I know everybody else probably is too.
What?
I want to know how they gonna tie Uncle Clifford from the Chuckalisa strip club. What's the name of that
The
show?
pink
Uh,
down in the valley, Pink Valley.
yes, Pink. What is it?
Pink Valley.
Pink Valley. I don't think that's the name of the show.
No, it's called Pink Valley. It is called
What?
it's called P Valley.
Oh, you said P Valley. I thought
No,
you said Pink Valley.
before I was.
Okay.
And I said, I'm like,
So
no,
I
it
want
don't
to.
sound right. P Valley.
So I want to know how they gonna tie him being at Uncle Jerome's funeral. Did you see that? Him at Uncle Jerome's funeral?
No.
Look, look, Uncle Clifford was at Jerome's funeral.
Uncle Clifford.
And I know that they gotta tie that
Somebody
in.
to
What
search it. Somebody searched it.
Uncle Clifford done flew from Chuckalisa,
Chuckalisa.
probably to borrow some money, or he
Yep.
had he had a connect over there somehow.
He sure was there.
And they gonna tie that into the damn P Valley series somehow. Uncle
Yeah.
Jerome probably owned part of Chuckalisa or the
Yeah.
P Valley.
People said Uncle Clifford was at Uncle Jerome's funeral to make sure that roulette was coming to the pink after the funeral. They people got their theories. I didn't notice that though, but I
Mm.
was probably I don't know. After Uncle Jerome died, I ain't want to see no more. I was like, I don't
You ain't want to see no more what?
no
Killing?
more. I ain't want to see no more nothing because I knew where it was headed, and I was like, this got it.
Oh, I thought.
Look, this the thing though. I thought it was gonna end one or two ways. I was like, Franklin's gonna either die or he gonna get caught up somehow and be in prison. Neither. They
Well,
said,
see,
let me make him a
that was
bum.
easy.
Yeah,
That was easy for
yeah.
him to get killed or show up in prison. I thought the same. I thought Franklin. Part of me thought that he was gonna get out unscathed.
Hmm.
Um, I wasn't really mad at the way that it ended
Oh, wasn't mad at all. It was a
because I
beautiful
just
work
feel
of
like
art.
it was just a full circle type of deal. They told like a complete story. Now, there was a couple of characters that I was happy that they did get out pretty much
Oh,
not unscathed, but they didn't
so,
die.
oh,
Also,
so.
man, also was going through it. They couldn't catch a break. I'm like, this dude is so resilient. Like
Oh, so
every
it's also for
time
real.
he done lost 3 or 4 women, 2 families. It's just
Look,
also went through it.
all he got is a boxing rink and a voicemail. he, he
He got money.
went the his
Franklin gave him some money.
but his family. He ain't got he checking his
Yeah,
voicemail box.
yeah.
She said, we made it to North Carolina.
Oh man, I felt so bad. I felt good and then I feel bad also, man. and then Lee and Wanda.
Lee and Wanda, I'm glad Lee got out. Lee deserved his little pit
Yeah,
bull looking face.
I didn't think Lee was gonna make it. See, I thought Lee was being real stupid when he came back from Africa. I'm like, nigga, why you
I was
why would you
very
come
and
back
then have Wanda up in the projects around this crack when she is a
around the
recovering
crack?
crackhead.
She telling him, look,
She's
this shit is
saying this
hard. It's calling
it's
my name.
hard. She literally was
I'm
begging,
working at this center.
and he was like, well, my niggas, they
Well,
gonna ride
you
for
know,
me. So you want me to be a
I was like,
crackhead again?
damn,
Cause yeah, no, I was afraid at that
I
time of
was
where the
puzzled
season
by
was going because I'm like, none of this is making sense. But outside of Franklin either going to jail or dying, the most realistic ending is the one they came up with, and that's why like I'm not mad at it, but man, did it hurt. And it's crazy because if you didn't see Franklin as the main character, like if Franklin was a real person, which it kind of is, um, but if he was a real person and like he was a quote unquote like criminal, we would really think Franklin was a piece of shit. Like, like, oh, you've been selling drugs back to your own community and doing anything for your money. But it's like we saw past all of it except for at
oh
the end
yeah,
it like smacked us in the face like, oh no, Franklin was a terrible person. Like he putting his
yeah, he was
hands on a
terrible.
woman, he called his mama a
A
bitch.
pregnant mama.
He
I
called his
know, right?
mama
You
a
snapped
bitch.
off.
He called this
He
him.
was,
I said Franklin. The whole episode I just kept saying Franklin.
yeah,
Oh,
he went
Franklin.
off the deep end.
But look though,
Yeah,
he was in the end. We might
he
have
was
thought he looked.
content, wasn't he?
We might have thought he was down bad, but he said he free from it all. And I said,
Hey,
you know what? I get it.
he was at the most peaceful point in his life that he had ever been, and he didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of.
No, he did. He did have a window to throw it out of, but he was finna throw it on the girl that was
The
pooping.
hell they took
The
it.
girl that was pooping outside his. He said, "I sleep here." That he killed that. Like when he was sassy chocolate nigga like me, he was so. I said, "Oh, Franklin was made for this. He was made for
He
this."
played that part.
He
He's like,
played
hey
that
man, you
yo
got 2 hours.
yo yo yo. He was calling him yo yo like he been calling him that since they was in diapers. Yo yo. I said, yeah,
Oh
he
man,
need a Emmy, Emmy, Emmy. I think that's what the TV
he didn't get no
show.
Emmy.
He
No, he
might
didn't
not
get
get
no.
one, but he
Well,
need
he
one.
might. He portrayed somebody that um he portrayed a drug dealer. So he might. Denzel got one for a bad cop. Halle got one for sleeping with old dudes. So I mean, he might get one. You never know. Anywho, what else we got going on?
To segue, backtrack a little. When Franklin called his mama out of her name the way that he did, wanted to talk about parenting and punishments today. Parenting and punishments. We're really
Yeah.
want to talk about how you as a dad and how you and mom balanced the parent to the friend or the friendly parent, how y'all balance that. Like what I want to hear some challenges and stuff because I know how y'all parented me, and I know how y'all are attempting to parent my sister, and I also know how other people were parented. And it's interesting to see how we became products of said disciplinary actions.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you sent me this as a topic, I was like, man, have I ever even disciplined my kids?
Yeah.
I remember when you was a baby, you was little. Oh man, 2, 3, maybe. We had that. It was a 25-inch TV. which was big at the time, but it had the VCR built into it, and you used to like to watch that damn Barney or some shit,
Teletubbies.
and your little ass used to like to try to climb up and put the damn tape into the the the, the, the yeah,
Into the
and I
VCR.
caught you. I caught you didn't know what you was doing, but you knew where that tape went, and you was and the TV was sitting on a stand, so you was trying to climb up the stand, and the TV. I mean, it was sturdy, but it could have come over on you, and I caught you, and I caught you once, I caught you twice, and then I caught you the third time. I talked to you the first two times, and I was like, "Hey," I said, "Look, don't do that." I said, and I tried to explain to you two, three. You don't. You're like, "Okay, Daddy." Called you the second time. We talked to you. I said, now this strike two. I said, you do it again, Daddy gonna have to whoop you. I'm gonna have to spank you.
Okay.
And you did it the third time. And
I
boy,
said, Daddy, I can't
I
even
was
count. I don't know what three is.
oh no, you was able to count because you was an intelligent baby. You wasn't intelligent enough to stop climbing up that damn TV stand. And I had to put your mama out the room, and I think I might have gave you two licks. And next thing you know, I was
You was
crying.
crying.
I was crying. I was like, I felt bad. I would feel terrible. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is what people mean when they say it's gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you.
And you just had to.
And that was the first time that I had to discipline you with a, spanking or whatever. But I say that to say, as far as discipline, you know, we grow up in the black community. There was a certain generation after generation we feel like even some of us still today feel like physically harming or spanking or whooping or beating a child or a person is the most effective way to discipline them. And I don't agree. I don't subscribe to that train of thought. I think times have changed. I think that the kids today are so um, not wiser. They're smart. They're witty. They know how to maneuver. They know how to manipulate. Let's just keep it what it is. They know how to manipulate,
Keep it
and you
fresh.
have to be very careful on how you call yourself disciplining a child because with technology today and these daggone phones and them having access to stuff in their phones that older people may have access to but don't have a clue how to use,
Hmm.
you'll end up in a lot of trouble messing with these kids today if you ain't careful. That's not to say that you don't do anything. I think you have to build a level of trust. You have to communicate. You have to have boundaries. You have to have rules in place. You just got to have some kind of foundation where there's some kind of a level of trust that is recognized between all parties.
Hmm.
I feel like if the parents, if both parents are involved in the kid's life, the parents have to be on the same page.
Mm.
It's hard enough to be on the same page when you're living in the same house. If you're not living in the same house and you're trying to co-parent, you definitely got to be on the same page with each other because kids will fucking manipulate.
And
I
even
think
on
that's one of
the
them.
oh what so
I was gonna say that I think that's one of the, one of the things that they're best at is manipulation. If it goes un
untamed, untreated.
untamed, yes,
No, I was gonna say like on the flip side of that too, like not even the like them being manipulated, like good at manipulation, but also kids can get confused too if one
yeah,
parent
it's true.
is saying oh this is or by not saying it's not okay, they're kind of giving a pass like yeah you can do that, and then you go with this parent over here, and then they give you a harsher punishment for that. That can be confusing. How has how has that like being consistent, not even when it comes to like you and mommy co-parenting, but like how has it been like just being consistent you like as dad, like if it's like kind of like what how do you set the bar, like when, because I remember it's funny you just said told the story about the TV and the three strikes, because
Hmm.
I didn't know that you did the three strikes, but I remember the time that I called the police at the bowling alley, and
Mm.
and I thought that I was gonna get a whooping, which I probably should have, but you just was like, you asked me that I called the police. I said no, and he was like, you lied, and he was like, I'm not gonna whoop you this time, but this strike one. And I remember being like, I was kind of confused, and I was kind of like, oh, I get another pass before I get in trouble. So like how I did all that to say like how did you cut, with it the strike system, you just kind of pull it out of thin air, or is it just something that she was like, this kind of works, like I feel like you were doing some
Well,
emotional
for,
regulation there and didn't even know it.
I feel like you're right. Now that I'm older, I feel like because for me, like I said before, I started with the idea that, and I said the black community, but in a lot of families, not just black families, first thing you want to do is go to whooping on the kid. And I just think you just talked about being confused. A lot of people they want to whoop some ass and yell and scream and cuss, but that kid is sitting there and they're taking in all this yelling, this screaming, this punishment, this abuse, and they have no idea what the fuck is going. They know something happened, but there's no explanation
Mm-hmm.
being given to them. It's just you didn't do what I said do. I'm whooping your ass, and I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like nah, I didn't want to raise my kids that way. Like I was gonna take the time to try to explain. Even when you was little, I set you down with the TV deal. I set you down and try to explain to you, this is why you don't do this because that TV could fall over on you.
Mm-hmm.
So don't do this. And you try to communicate with the child and try to guide them and show them, you know, that actions have consequences. Talk to them about what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. And my thing is this: I'm not totally against a spanking,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I don't think it's the answer for every situation. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like, and then I think there needs to be some kind of dialogue associated with. If you do decide to spank your child, there should be some dialogue associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. I don't feel like you're doing any good to just spank a child and just be like, "That's it. Go to your fucking room,"
Yeah, because now
and
I
leaving
still
that
don't
child to
know.
stew.
I still don't know what I did
I
to get
don't.
a
The
whooping
kid
for
don't
real.
know. I've been in that position, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? I mean,
Right.
I didn't even get to explain. Like I talked about when I got a whooping, and I didn't get to explain, what went on. Well, I talked about one,
You
and
talk
that
about
whooping was
just
probably
getting
the third.
slammed in the door in the face with Pinky.
Slamming the door. It was another instance where I
I
got a
know the
whooping
other
where,
instance you talking about. I think
yeah,
where you was.
I did, you know, it was told that I was mouthing off to
Yeah.
Sister Gwen of all people, and I got my ass tore up, and I didn't get to explain my side to the ass whooper. But when I went back to apologize to Sister Gwen, she looked at me like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Well, you're gonna have to go talk to mom because
Look, you hold
somebody
this
told her
same facial expression and come with me.
that." So yeah, I don't ever want to put y'all in my children in that type of situation. Now, with that being said, on occasion, we as parents are not perfect,
No, nobody on earth
and
is.
we tell y'all kids to do something, and y'all just gonna take it upon yourself to arbitrarily, hey, I'm gonna do what the hell I want to do. Hell with what mom and daddy said. And then that's when the wrath of God come down on your ass. And sometimes you just gotta get what's coming to you. You might get a verbal lashing. Hell, you might get smacked upside the head. Hell, you might get something. but you just can't go around doing what you want to do and not think there's going to be some consequences associated with it. I think that's one of the issues going on in this crazy ass world today. You got these kids growing up, they cussing at their parents, they yelling at their parents. Parents ain't got a clue on how to deal with them. They well, I don't believe in spanking my kid. That's why your ass is getting smacked upside the head by your kid. Yeah, you ain't got no kind of there's no kind of fear, not even fear, there's no respect is what it is. There's no kind of respect
Ding, ding, ding,
from
ding,
you and your
ding.
child.
That's what I was gonna
And
say. Wait,
what's that?
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say, I think that a lot of like when I think about how you parented me, like I only got a handful of whoopings from you, and it was like it got to a point where I almost preferred a whooping over you saying the thing you would say, which was like, I'm disappointed in you. Like that would break my heart, like to
Yeah.
know that I lost your like respect. And so I think it goes back to like you said, communicating with your child about, consequences to their actions. And when doing that, you're building a mutual trust between each other because,
Mhm.
the child is thinking, oh, you know, I trust that they look out for my best interest, while the adult is emotionally regulating themselves and, healthy communication to their child to prevent them from hurting themselves in the future. And I think doing that, you know, builds some sort of trust or some level of respect for your parents. So then you don't even want to do actions that's going to disappoint them. Like it's not, oh, I don't want to do
Right.
that because I don't want to get in trouble. It's, I don't want to do that because if my mama or daddy found out, they would be really disappointed in me. And I don't want to put them through that. And it's not good for
Or
me to
you
do,
don't want to you
anyways.
yeah, and you don't want to you felt that feeling before
Mm,
as a child and you don't like it. So you like I don't want to feel this way again. Like I
mm-mm,
do not want to because I know even for me as an adult, if somebody that I love and I trust and that I really enjoy being around, value their relationship with me, if they tell me that they're disappointed in me even today, I it, I just feel like, the air gets sucked out of me and I'm like, oh man, what the hell?
because it takes a lot
You
to
just
disappoint somebody. I mean, it
man.
doesn't, but like, if somebody is taking the time to say, that disappointed me, it's like I'll never like it's. I don't know if it's in every child, but it has always hurt me to see me make one of y'all like cry or even just get upset in general. Anything that happens as a
Mhm.
result of something I did, I'd be like, oh my God. I think it might be the people pleaser in me where I'm like, oh no, how can I fix this? But I like, I'll never, this was a cause for whooping, which I will attest to. But when we lived in Ullin, by the park, and mommy had been yelling at me about something, and I told her my brain
When you
think
said
my
my
brain
brains,
said it think you stupid, and she said, "What? What did you say?" And I said, I just knew I was getting a pass because I said my brain said it thinks you're stupid.
oh boy.
Man, my butt still tingled from them whoopings I got. She whooped me and then she said, "Wait till your daddy come home," and then you whooped me. And I was like, yeah, that was pretty foul of me. But
I,
I
hey,
remember mommy
I remember
crying,
that one.
and like at that moment, like I wasn't even concerned about. I mean, yeah, I was scared of you coming home because I knew I was going to get another whooping, but I just felt terrible that I had done something to make mommy cry like that. And in my head, I'm just like, well, my brain said it. I didn't say it, so oh
But yeah, you was in like first grade or something
yeah,
like that,
I was
kindergarten
young.
maybe.
I was young.
Cause I was driving truck, boy. I
Mhm.
remember your mama. I remember she called me on two occasions because she don't bother me when I'm at work. She didn't bother me. But I know when that phone rang and it like if it was early in the morning, I was like, oh shit, something going on. That morning, I never, boy, she was hot. She said, "You better come home and get her. I'm gonna beat her ass." I'm like, what? I said, "Wait, what's going on?" This little heifer gonna tell me her brain think I'm stupid or some shit. Boy, she was hot. I said, "Oh, my baby about to die."
Ooh,
Then she took you down. Mama was
it
still
wouldn't
living.
let me
She
have
took you
no
down there
fun.
and said, "Don't get her no. She don't need to have no fun today." And then there was one more time when your mama called me like that, distraught one morning, is when the first Roscoe disappeared.
Oh, she called
Boy,
me
boy,
distraught
boy,
that morning also. Well, Mari called me while mommy
man,
was calling you. And I'm like, oh no. And she's like,
that was
Roscoe.
tough.
R.I.P.
That was tough.
R.I.P. to Roscoe number
I
one. And shout out to
I like
mommy.
that Roscoe too.
Shout out to
I
mommy.
she was
I didn't mean to hurt your
she
feelings. My brain don't think you're stupid. My brain thinks you're very smart. And I think you're very smart. We're on the same we are in alignment with what we think about you.
Yeah, your mama is no dummy by a long shot. She dealt with a lot dealing with you and your sister.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zach. She's a strong lady. Well, I should she's dealt with a lot dealing with you, Mari, and me. And shout out to her.
She definitely carrying the world on her back. But yeah, that like I think setting that level that bar of like expectations. Like this is like our your paternal like this is our moral code kind of like it's like an unspoken code. You kind of say it without saying it about certain things. Um
Hmm.
and I don't know what it is. Like I've always just of course I've veered off the path sometimes because I am a person and I was a
You're
teenager,
not perfect.
not
None of us
perfect
are.
at all. But when I'm thinking with my head on straight and I'm got a clear mind, I typically tend to adhere by what y'all have set up for me.
So as parents, like, well, I should for me, and I know in numerous conversations with your mother, we only want the best for our children. Most parents only want the best for their children. And people that think rationally, first of all, if you do decide to spank your child and you don't feel bad about doing it, you need to go
Hmm.
get yourself checked out
Put that belt
because
down, go
that's
to
really
the
not a norm.
psychiatrist.
If you thrive, if you get
Mm-mm.
off on beating your child, something's wrong with you.
Put
Like you
that
need to
baby
go get yourself
somewhere.
checked out. So
And
if there's anybody out there listening, pray to God none of our listeners are like that. But if you're that person that like to spank your child and you get a kick out of it, please go seek some
you
help.
weird as hell.
Now, for me, it's a last resort thing. I'm not. That's not my deal. I don't like screaming. I don't like fussing and cussing. But I do like to try to keep some kind of order going on between the parent-child relationship. I'm not interested in being your friend, and when I'm your parent, like you and I, the relationship we have now is more of a. I look at you as more like a colleague, more so than a friend. I mean, you're still my daughter,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
We can shoot the
I ain't
shit.
really interested in being. Yeah, we can shoot the shit, but I ain't really interested in being your friend, like your friend,
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Just like
you
with
do have a
Mari.
fine boundary with that. You don't like getting the drunk Kier phone calls. Well, yeah, I love you so
No,
much. I just want
yeah,
you
don't
to
no.
know. You get mad. Why ain't you calling me?
Yeah, I'll be like, that's my daughter. Like, no, no,
Be like, I
no,
love you,
don't do me like
Daddy.
that. But so for me, like when you start talking about discipline, the goal is to try to prepare you for your life
Mm-hmm.
when you leave the house. So that's the purpose. Like we want to instill things in you. Use your brain. Use your head. Be wise when you make your decisions. Don't always react off emotion because when you leave that house, like when you're at home as a child, a teenager, whatever, your parents are the buffer between you and the world. So
Mm-hmm.
somewhat. When you become a teenager, 16, 17, that that little buffer kind of decreases because you're getting older. It's just a naturally occurring thing. But when you leave that house and you go out into the real world, whether you go off to college or whether you enter the workforce, man, life has a way of smacking the shit out of you
Mm,
and keep on moving. Your ass will be sitting there thinking like looking around like what just happened? And you don't
bruh.
know. And if you don't have any kind of sense of no kind of foundation about anything, that's how people end up on the street corners,
Dropped
on
out.
drugs and shit, fucked up. And with
And
I
that's
know people
so
that has had uh, uh, foundation have end up in those situations too. That's just a
mhm,
testament of what I said about life. Life will smack your ass and keep going.
it will.
We just be trying to prepare you for the real world.
Yeah, and that's something you like I knew that, but that's something that really revealed itself to me like when I went off to college and certain situations would come up where it was like you can go left or you can go right, and where
Hmm.
I'm going right is maybe two or three people going left. And I'm thinking in my head, like I try my best not to judge nobody, but I'm thinking about what the consequences of that action might be. And, I'm like, my moral compass is making me go this way, so I'm gonna go this way. Um, and so that showed itself because you could definitely tell you know the saying when people be like, they ain't got no house training, that
Yeah.
they ain't got no life training.
And see, even with that, when you go off to school or something, when you enter the real world, for your parents, when their child gets out there and they start experiencing life on their own, and you start getting those phone calls about their experiences, and they talk to you about how they maneuvered such certain experiences, and as a parent, that's when, like, when we're teaching you that, we want you to get it in that moment, but you may not get it in that moment. It may be
Hmm.
years down the line before that thing click in your head, and then you might have an aha moment and be like, damn, man, mom and daddy said this shit was gonna happen like this.
Yep.
And then you may get called back home or get at a family gathering and be like, Daddy, I got something to
Remember
talk
that
to you
time
about.
you had said,
You remember that time about this? That happened and I did this, and I remember us having a conversation about this. Or I remember when I got my ass whooped for doing that and that shit came up again. And I didn't do it this time because I was like, I ain't trying to, so it just, and that, when that type of thing happens as a parent, that's when you get that feeling like, shit, we did something
I
right.
did
Like,
good.
if we ain't do, I know me and your mother have had several instances when it came to you, and we look at each other and be like, you know what, we might not did a lot of things right, but we did something right when it came to her, and hope we gonna be able to say the same thing about Mari going forward too. So yeah, man, that's it's that discipline thing is a tricky one. It can be a
That's
tricky one.
I tried to keep pins in what you said. You had a lot of good points. The one that just stood out most, just because I talked about it most recently in my counseling therapy session, is like you want us to get it in the moment, but it might not come to us till years later. And so I was talking to my therapist about how I talk to Mari and navigate life as big sister and somewhat of like a third parent, like a parental extension. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I try and tell her these things. I try and tell her certain things from personal experience. I try and be real with her, and sometimes she just don't hear me. And my therapist was like, keep doing what you're doing. She called it planting seeds. She was like, you can't,
Yeah,
you don't plant seeds expecting it to grow overnight. She was like, the
right.
seeds you're planting now are rooting. They're gonna develop as Mari gets older. And she's basically just giving me that affirming thing that I needed. That keep talking to her. She hear you. She might not
Yeah.
get it just yet, but one day she will. And I was like, I can do that. I can do
The
that.
thing is because I have the same ideas. I have the same thoughts. Had them when it came to you, and I have them now when it comes to Mari. It's like going through the experiences with you has prepared me somewhat for dealing with Mari. It's like, she's not as intelligent, as witty, as smart as she is. She may not get the message when I want her or we want her to get the message.
Mm-hmm.
Our job is to make sure that we keep open lines of communication,
Mm-hmm.
that we're consistent,
Consistent.
and we're unwavering in whatever we're trying to get through to her. It's like the first talk is like the planting of the seed. And each time it come up, if you stay consistent, it's like you watering that seed.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, like she says, getting rooted. And God willing, one day it'll click and
Mm-hmm.
she'll see it, and she'll be able to move forward accordingly. And that's what you want. Because you
And
cannot, as a parent, you cannot live your child's lives. You
mm-mm.
can't control what your child decides to do and not to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a tough pill to swallow, especially when they're a minor. Like, we want to think that we can control what those kids do, but we can't. We don't. We're not around them 24/7. Even if you are living in the home with them every day,
Mm-hmm.
you can't monitor them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
As much as you think you can, you can't. So
Yeah.
you just got to do the best that you can. Be consistent with your child. Communicate with your child. Have that open door policy. Leave space. Like, even for me, for us, with you growing up, it was like, and I don't know, you may remember me used to telling you this. Look, you can come and talk to us about anything, but if you got something that you feel like you don't want to talk to us about, you got your uncles, you got
Mm-hmm.
your aunties,
Yep.
somebody you can trust, you have a relationship with separate of us, you can go talk to them, and that's
How could I
perfectly
forget
fine.
that
Just know
conversation?
that you got a support system around you that has your best interest in mind. And I think when you give a child that confidence and let them know that no matter what happens, they're going to be loved, I think that helps them a lot
It
in
definitely
whatever they may be facing.
being a person, a kid who was being someone who was that kid. I definitely remember that because that was around the time, I was a teenager thinking about getting all those funny feelings. And I'm like, it's weird. I don't want to talk about it with my daddy and my mom. That's creepy. So let me go talk to my crazy uncle who will,
Uncle Bob.
Uncle Bob. let me let me go talk. That's a story I'm gonna say for another day. But let's just say Uncle Bob definitely educated me about what I asked for information about. And it was one of those very like comforting things. Just I'm like, okay, it wasn't so awkward, like because Uncle Bob finna drop me off. Like I'm finna be in the house, so I ain't gotta look at him. Whereas, my daddy and mama, I gotta look at them, look at me. And that's just awkward. I don't wanna do that. So yeah, shout out to the
Yeah,
extended family who also serves as your anchor when you don't want to go to your parents because some things are a little weird, and that's one thing I do like about being a big sister is that I she know I'm there. I'm like no
right.
matter what, you could always come to me. I'm always gonna consider your health the best route first before I pass any sort of thoughts or opinions of my own. I'm gonna make sure you're good where you at right now, and then we could talk. We can talk discipline later, but right now your health and stuff is priority. And that's been like one of the coolest things just as a big sister, whether she has a headache and she's like, I don't feel like going to school today. I mean, she might be playing me sometimes, but that's okay. But she know
Oh,
I
ain't no
got her
doubt about
back.
that.
And I know when she
Yeah,
doing it
not
too,
and
she ain't slick. I let her get away with it. But yeah, that's
right.
been a fun part of being a big sister because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the non-judgmental. Like I'm Switzerland. I'm neutral.
Oh, wow.
Hello.
Well, as a I will say this, when you're having kids, and you and Mario 9 years apart, and when y'all was growing up, people used to be like, "Why y'all waited a long time to have another baby?" It's like, yeah, but when they get older, it is nice to have another adult mind in the mix of things when you're trying to work through some stuff. So yeah, I'm thankful for the dynamic of our family right now. You know, it ain't always been easy, but we try to work together when every time anytime an issue comes up. So,
I
and
think
I
we do a
think
pretty good job of that.
that's the definition for me of being family is like, what do you do when the shit hit the fan?
Hmm.
We can all cack and giggle and shit during the good times, but what do you do
But when you say
when
you
things
never
aren't so good?
try, what you doing?
When you are you banding
Just
together to try to work through whatever you're dealing with, or are you tearing each other's throats out, arguing about shit that don't amount to nothing?
being a Tyler
And I
Perry
like to think
movie.
that we banding together,
Yeah, we
yeah,
do.
waiting till somebody die to say I love you.
That's we. I think we do a really good job. Like the Nelsons in general do a really good job of, no matter what time, kind of relationships, we know that family is like we got each other when times
Family,
get hard.
family is everything. We may
Family,
not have nothing, but we got each other.
that's not nothing. I don't know.
It
That's something.
is something. At the end of the day, shit, I tell you what, we'll all be a lot of Franklin Saints together
A lot of
at the
sexy
end of the day,
chocolate niggas
right?
like me. But yeah,
Oh
no,
shit.
that's good. I think when I do have kids, I do want to be the soft parent. You know how they do it nowadays, where you're literally communicating to the child, like really why you would be upset with them. Like you shouldn't touch the oven because it's hot, it's gonna burn you, and that's gonna hurt. Instead of being like,
Touch that some bitch.
don't touch the motherfucking oven, pow pow pow. Just I you
Touch the
for
oven.
that instance, I will let them touch it because didn't Fari let me touch
Yeah.
it, or he no Mari
He let
or
all the
me.
kids. Daddy was one of them people that hey, yeah, is that what you want to do? Go on, take your ass over there and touch it. I bet you won't touch it no more. And then he'll
Hey,
be laughing.
child endangerment. Fari, they can come dig you up and put you in handcuffs, bruh.
But you know the crazy part, he might have been a little unorthodox, but there ain't a kid when they was a kid didn't love being around him.
Nope. Cause yeah,
He'd go take you, scoop you up, and take you fishing or take you to Krispy Kreme donuts, do something ignorant. Daddy
gonna
was
get
just
you some
great. Daddy
black
would do something,
walnut.
take you drive to Osceola, Arkansas to get some damn Baskin and
Let me
Robbins
get
ice
some of that
cream.
black walnut Baskin and Robbins. You gonna ride up to St. Louis with me? I said, fine
Oh
for
man, that
what?
dude
We
right
gonna go
there.
to Baskin and Robbins.
Get
I
some
said, we
ice
going to
cream.
we going to St. Louis for Baskin. I mean, hey, if you buying, let's go.
Hey, that dude right there, when he got his mind made up, son, that's the only man I know get in the car. Anytime anybody bought a new car, let's go to Chicago and get some meat.
Get some
Like
corned
what?
beef
What are you
sandwiches.
go and get?
Yo,
We gonna drive all the way to Chicago to get some corned beef sandwiches, some beef bologna, and some damn hot dogs. And we'll spend money, good money, going there. We're going up there to Moine Oink. Oh, I forget the name. Off of Damon. It's up there off of Damon. They
look,
still open.
listen, he I will never forget. Well, I had kind of forgot, but you just pulled it out of my memory. When I was in school and had mentioned something on Facebook about wanting a corned beef sandwich, I was like, man, I really miss those corned beef sandwiches I used to get at home. Fari called me and was like, when you coming back home? And I was like, I'm not sure. I haven't really planned any. Said, well, if you do or you go to Chicago, this how you get to the place where I get the
He
sandwiches.
gonna give you
You
directions.
you get off on 57 and you're gonna take a right and or is it a left? Shit. Uh
Ain't
this
no
this
telling.
the this the now this is what he's saying. This is Well, I'm gonna call you back with the name of the place so you can look it up. I said, "Sorry, let me save you the time. I'm not going to Chicago no time
Oh,
soon, but I really appreciate the gesture." And
oh
that's why
man,
I do
that
anything
dude.
for some food nowadays too, because that's how my granddaddy raised.
You got it in you. You got it in you.
Look, because I sure drove to Krispy Kreme the other day and got a 12 pack, a dozen, and I ate
Mm.
all but maybe two. CJ came home and he said, "Key,
You know what? I'm not even
it makes
entertaining that
it's so close to
situation.
us." And they on the app they notify you when the signs say hot and ready. So
Oh,
so
delete that app,
I be
okay?
oh,
Delete
I
that
need
app.
my rewards. Look, I
You see?
need my rewards. I need my
All right.
Y'all got any more of them Krispy Kreme glazed donuts?
All right, Pookie
Put it on 8
of New
seconds.
Jack. Yeah.
Um,
Scotty, come get me. I'm gonna die.
but yeah, so yeah, that's enough about parenting. However y'all parent y'all kids, just don't be just beating the kids just for your
Don't just be
enjoyment.
beating on your daggone kids. God bless you
Because
with two, with some, well, not with, I best bless me with two, but God bless you with those gifts, allowed you to be parents. Don't be out there just beating on your kids. We
mhm.
ain't got no listeners like that. We ain't got to say that.
I hope
What you got?
not.
What else you got?
I hope not. Well, I
Yeah.
was gonna do some I was gonna pull some stuff from the headlines on today as
All
we
right,
are
share what we
recording.
talking about.
So we got a few
Man,
a
there's some
few
stuff
people
going
done
on.
died. A few people done died.
Few deaths.
We got
Who
Harry
died today?
Belafonte. He
Harry
died.
Belafonte,
We got
good actor, not good, legendary activist. Did a lot
Jimmy
of good for the
Springer.
black folks.
I mean
Jerry
Jerry.
Springer,
Jerry.
uh, Jerry Springer
Jerry
ran one of the
Springer just died.
most ratchet damn TV shows ever put on TV.
Jerry
Set the black community back 25 years, and the white one too. The poor white
Jerry
folks anyway.
Jerry
And he
Coyne.
used to be the
Big
mayor of
Widow.
Cincinnati, I think.
What?
He was a mayor of Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken, at one time.
Oh, I need a documentary about him. Cause what? How you go from mayor to ratchet Jerry
Money.
to
Shit.
he also had a little judge show the
Yeah, he used
past
to be
few
a
years.
judge.
At work we was talking about him. I forget how he came up about it. This was literally last week. We was talking about him and somebody had sent a gift like in the chat and it was of Jerry Springer in a robe. I was like, now when did Jerry become a judge? So they had like sent the article or whatever. That was the last we talked about it last week. So this week, today, I was in the office and I put the article in the chat and I said, no more Jerry shows. And everybody was like,
No more
oh
judge.
man. That one was just so kind of unexpected. It just threw me off. It's one of those background people who like you don't really think about them, but it's like, oh man, just like Leslie Jordan.
So Jerry, the only
What
thing
y'all
Jerry
doing?
is imprinted in your psyche because you, your grandma, and your mama used to sit up and watch episodes of Jerry Springer like y'all was crazy.
Yeah,
I bet boy, y'all used to watch the hell out of Jerry Springer. And I never,
Jerry,
I never,
Jerry,
yeah,
Jerry,
it's just
Jerry,
ratchetness,
Jerry,
foolishness. I don't,
Jerry.
I ain't wishing ill on them, but that damn, nobody give a damn about Jerry Springer like that.
I well, I mourned his loss for a good 5 minutes at work,
Well, you
and
gave him 5 minutes. That's all he deserved. That bullshit and ratchet shows and sprung off his shows.
but you know whose grave I'd piss on?
Whose grave would you pee on, Kiara? God
Emmett
damn,
Till's
that's tough.
accuser. She just
Oh
died.
shit! Don't get me started on that.
She died today, or she was reported dead
Mm,
today. She
yeah, she might be being protected.
you know where they had found her. You know where she was at?
Where was she at?
She was here in North Carolina in Cary.
No shit.
Mhm. Carolyn
Wowzers.
Bryant Donham. She was she like they was for a while they was like protesting and stuff in Cary. They was like lock her up, blah blah blah. She
That's a whole man. That's a whole thing right there, man. Like some of the stuff that has gone on with people in this country, like back in the days, it to this day, it has a profound effect on me. I wasn't living back then,
mhm
but I can't sit here and say that the thought when I think about that story and how his Emmett Till's mother, like some people in our family, like they knew of that family. I know
mhm
Pud tells me that when they was looking for his grandpa, them lived down near Grenada, Mississippi,
mhm
and he said when they was looking for Emmett Till, that them dudes came to his grandpa's house looking for Emmett Till when that happened. Uncle Gennaro tells that story.
goodness.
And when I hear his name, and then I think about how his mother decided to let his pictures be put in the Ebony magazine, and because she wanted people
The
to
world
see
to see
what
what
they
they
did to
did to
her
her
son.
baby.
Like, man, like, come on, dude. Like, it just when I think about stuff like that, it just hurts my heart that you still have that foolishness going on today. Some of that foolishness going on today,
And you
just
have
like with
people
these
who
with
just won't acknowledge that that kind of stuff happened. Like,
well, you got people who are actively using the government to try to keep stuff like that from being taught in schools. Like
mhm,
it's literally going on in Florida right now. They are real. The sentence is literally trying to keep stuff like that out of schools. Like
mhm,
why? Like we got to live with that trauma. How come other people don't need to learn about it
mhm,
so they don't feel bad about what their ancestors did? That's some
mhm.
bullshit.
But still gonna
And
make you learn
and
about
anybody
Great
who
Britain and
vote for that
shit.
crap, and anybody who vote for that crap they can kiss my ass. But
Yeah, you.
yeah, that's
I
just one of them
agree.
things, man.
Yeah, no, I because you haven't been to the museum in DC, have you?
Nah, I'm going, but I haven't been yet.
So that's one of them. Like I think that was one of the first museums that really connected me to like museum art because in there's like a mock-up basically of like Emmett Till's funeral, and they have like the casket and they have the music playing and they have it's open but there's like a picture of what you would have seen, and
Hmm.
there's just something so heavy. I mean, that whole museum is so heavy, but that specifically, that was the time I cried in there because I was like, that's you see all the articles, you see what everybody was saying, and it's just like they didn't have to do that to him.
And that's just one
And that's just
of
one that we know
countless
about.
we know about of
Mhm.
countless uh, instances of where people were freaking killed for basically nothing,
And it wasn't even
and people
doing
don't.
what they was accused of doing. That's the
Yeah.
kicker. And that's yeah, no, they wasn't raised with good morals. That's all I'm gonna say. But it's alright because she dead now. Carolyn, I would say rest in peace, but I hope you have all the havoc in wherever you going. Uh, but with that, another kind of annoying eye roller of a headline is that the cop that killed Breonna Taylor got a job back in the police force.
I'm not surprised. I bet you if you go back and the ones that ain't get locked up, I bet you they've been recycled in another police department somewhere else. I know I can't think of the cop's name, but when they killed that little boy in that young fella in Ohio, they just pulled up on him. He was in the park
Tamir,
by himself playing with a
Tamir
Tamir
Rice.
Rice. Jumped out, killed him dead, no nothing. And it wasn't too long after that, that guy was down the road working at another police station. That's just what the fuck they do. I mean, it's just what they do. It,
That's
it's sad.
That is one thing
It's
that
sickening.
I really pray. That's one of my biggest fears. One, about like bringing kids into this world, and two, having a black husband, having a black dad, having black male friends, and us too, black women too. Like,
But yeah, it's
I
you. No,
police.
hold on, let me stop you.
Yep.
Let me
Yep.
stop you
Yep.
real quick
Zoop.
because a lot of us we get caught up on the black, and I get it.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong, I get it. But you got to throw the poor white people in there too
Oh yeah,
because poor white people catch holy hell. The only thing about poor white people is that a lot of them still think that their status
that they're
is
better than us.
better than us. And that's the unfortunate part. They don't give a fuck about y'all no more than they give a fuck about us.
Yep.
And
Nope.
the way that they treat y'all should let y'all know that. But y'all keep voting MAGA shit. Go ahead. But go ahead, do what you say.
Oh goodness. Dang, what was I saying?
I don't even remember because you know me, I
Uh
keep me right up on this kind of
being
stuff.
having black men in my life and being a black woman. Like, the police do not scare me in terms of, if I say I was to get pulled over, I would be extra careful to do everything the way that I'm supposed to do it. But it's not because they scare me, it's because I'm afraid that I might scare them. And it's just, it's like, y'all weren't designed, well, technically y'all were designed with this in mind, but y'all say y'all supposed to protect and serve, but here
Hmm.
you are shooting at the first thing that make you feel a little in danger, when that's your damn job, is to run towards the danger. You ain't firing off at the mentally unstable white boy that just shot up a school. Don't that scare you?
No. Or the
No, you
one
gonna
that
take him
did
to
the church.
the church, and you gonna
Or
take him
take
to
him to
Burger
goddamn
King,
Burger King.
get him a meal. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's just, that headline made me go ugh. And it made me go ugh, for real, because it just seemed like it was kind of tried to be done like undercover too, like, oh, let's give him a job. We ain't gonna say we give him a job, but come on, you can come back and work for us. And then the news was like, oh,
Hmm.
we got you, we saw
Oh,
it.
y'all be quicker than that.
Yeah, gotta be quicker than that.
Somebody,
Should have
somebody in
changed your
the news was
name.
like that, didn't they?
Somebody in the news said,
So
oop, there you go.
speaking of news,
Bah,
and
bah,
you
bah.
didn't have this on, you didn't have these on your list.
No, I didn't.
Two major news figures got shit canned this week.
Oh
One
yeah.
rightfully so, and the other, oh, we're talking
The
about. I
other,
don't even want to talk about the one because that
I
motherfucker
ain't,
be lying. He been lying since day one, and no, I don't really give a fuck about him being fired
that
because that's all he
infotainment.
do is lie.
But Don Lemon,
But
bruh,
you know, Don got his way of doing things, but I've been reading a little bit about the circumstances behind his firing, and it just seemed like it might be a little fishy. Don gonna get them people out of y'all ass here, and then y'all gonna have that community come. They gonna be on y'all ass.
Don, yeah, either Jewish or you gay. Uh, Don, did you see him kind of be what they call aggressive towards the Republican Indian candidate,
That
presidential candidate?
yes, I did. I saw that. I saw
You
that.
know what bothered me so much about that whole thing is that people, when the clip was circulating, the people are like, Don's so unprofessional, blah, 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 blah. But nobody pointed out the fact that what the dude was saying was not true at
It
all.
didn't make no sense at all.
And he just
Like
think that
Don
if
was
he talked fast, he
holding.
could talk past it, and he could say, well, that's your opinion, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, no, facts is facts. You
No,
can't say that the NRA helped black people get they what? Did you
what?
hear what
Why
you
they ain't helping them
saying?
today?
Well, did
That
you
don't
hear
even
what
make
you
no
saying?
sense.
And then for his coworker, the white lady, to sit back, be on her phone. That's where that white silence. Everybody want to be an ally. Everybody want to use hashtags. Everybody want to be down with the cause. But there was a
Till
perfect
the shit hit the fan.
opportunity for her to step in and either one pull her co-host back, like, yo, I know what you trying to do,
Don,
but you know how this is gonna be
right. This
portrayed.
ain't the time.
Or
Right.
use her white
Or,
woman
hey, I'm with you.
superpowers and say, well, you just brought up, what source do you have for that? Where are you getting your information from?
Right.
Because that we can't verify. So what do you have for us? And she did. She sat back, crossed her arms, was on her phone, and was happy to wrap up the segment. I said, you know
Her
what?
silence, you know
Her
that
silence was
phrase you
real
hear
loud.
sometimes. Her silence, her silence was complicit in the bullshit.
And she just as full of it as
Yep.
the rest of them. But that really
And I
irked
was
my nerves.
yeah, I was peeping that when I watched it, and then I was listening to Roland Martin give a little spiel about it, and they was
His little
some
Pillsbury
of them,
Doughboy
some
looking
people,
stuff. He's so cute.
some people was trying to say that when Don said or whatever ethnic ethnicity you are, seemed like that might have been what's that word they
Xenophobic.
use? Dismissive. Dismissive. He was being dismissive of that guy's race.
So
And
just fuck the fact that he
Roland,
was just spewing lies.
right? Roland Martin said, "Well, if that's the case, then if that's CNN's basis for firing him, he said that's weak as hell." He said that's weak as
You
hell.
got anything
He
strong there?
said, "Right." It was like you said, like never mind the fact that the dude was just spewing a bunch of bullshit. We just gonna overlook the bullshit. But you think about how politics work. And when you make a decision to watch some of them debates, presidential debates,
Poof.
that's all you get. You get a lot of fast
Bullshit,
talking, lip
different
service,
rapping.
bullshit. That's it. And that's why a lot of people have become so a lot of people are waking up and
Anti-government.
it's just like, you know what, I'm not even participating in that bullshit on that level because that's all it is. It's like shit doesn't matter at that level because the puppet masters know who they want in charge, and that's
Mm-hmm.
who's gonna be in charge. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
who gets that role, they get it for a reason.
Yep.
And all these people identifying themselves with certain people because of whatever. God help you.
Yeah. That's and that's like I said last episode. I think I said something like everybody shouldn't have voices, shouldn't have opinions, because that's another
But
thing that I feel
everybody
like
got assholes.
they do. They sure do. And shit comes out of both ends, don't it? But oh shit. Oh yeah, no. So everybody has opinions and everybody wants to say, like you just said, that everybody people were saying, Don Lemon saying whatever ethnicity you are was dismissive. Oh, all of a sudden everybody's so outraged for this person. And that's another this I'm getting back on my soapbox. Nothing irks me more than well, some things, but people being offended for other groups because they think that that group should be offended. So a lot of discourse on the internet nowadays is a blog or news article or whatever posting something that says something along the lines of this is Twitter and outrage after photo of so and so or after so and so said so and so. And it's like the more you read into whatever they posted, it wasn't black people being
It be
offended. It was a white
mm-mm.
woman who was like, my friend is black and I don't think that this is appropriate at all. And it's like, hello, stay in lane, shawty.
and the
I'm
and the
not
black people
even mad.
sitting over there like, what the fuck is you even talking about?
Look,
That ain't even nothing to be mad about. We
we got
got bigger
we
fish
got
to fry.
we got things to worry about, and I feel like that just speaks so
Yep.
much to people's privilege in the first place. That you got the capacity to be offended on my behalf, but check with me first, because that's y'all overstepping yet again, and that is one thing that
And
grinds my
at this
gears.
Yeah, and because at the same time, some of them same people, when you should be outraged, you like the lady we was just talking about. You're
Mm-hmm.
sitting there twiddling your thumbs, tweeting or doing nothing and not saying any. A lot. You know what? It all boils down to this. A lot of people want to give a lot of lip service, for likes or whatever, views or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. When the shit hit the fan, are you going to stand next to me during my time of crisis?
Nope.
That's the thing. Are you going to stand next to me? Are you going to feel that heat from the people who like you now, but if something come up that they oppose and you want to stand tall for,
You gonna stand 10
and you
toes?
got to stand next to me, are you going to do that? 9.5 times out of 10, no, because at the
Hell
end of the
no.
day, people, when it comes down to choosing between you and them,
They
they're going to
choosing
always
them.
go with them all
And
the time.
hey, you
So
know what's crazy? I cannot blame them. If I was in their shoes, I can't say that I would be standing 10 toes for anybody but myself.
you would
Oh,
have to be a special, you would have to be a well informed, rationally thinking human being in order to sacrifice life as you know it
mm-hmm.
for the good of other people.
Look at
And
that. We
that
can't
that don't
even
matter what color you are.
we can't even have a reality of having the privilege that certain people have. I'm just saying, if I was a white woman, man, I would have the opportunity to acknowledge privilege and I would choose not to. But I can't even to that extent, certain other when it comes to like colorism and stuff, I can use my privilege. But yeah, no white woman, that's like top tier elite. A white
Right.
rich white man in this country?
Mhm.
Mm, that's that's why I aspire to be.
If you was a rich white man, you would be like them rich white men been running around talking about you being discriminated against.
I know.
Nah,
That's
man.
look. That's what I'm saying. I get it. No, no.
You
Don't
know,
quote me. Don't quote me, y'all. It's late and I'm tired. It's that's.
uh,
She just a little cuckoo. What the crime podcast say? She didn't take her meds today. Call it a mental health episode. But yeah, I think
yeah.
that wraps up our talking points for today. I would say let's read some reviews, but you know what our audience did not do?
What they didn't do?
They didn't leave us no reviews, man. I ain't got nothing to read.
Oh, they may not have left any, but I gotta shout out a couple people who listen. They may not leave reviews, but they do listen. They let me know. Uh Judge Judy Baptist. She is one of our biggest supporters. And her best friend, um, oh shit. I can't even, that's a
It's okay.
Mildred. Miss
Charge it
Mildred.
to his
Miss
head, not
Mildred
his
listens
heart.
to the podcast.
Oh, Miss Mildred.
Miss Mildred listens to the podcast as well. Also, Miss Denise, who lives in Leeds, Alabama. I think she has started. I got her subscribed on her phone. I think she's listening too. So shout out to those three ladies for the support. We appreciate it. Anybody else who's listening who hasn't left a review or given a thumbs up or anything, we still appreciate you, even though we don't really know you there. We know you're watching though. We just don't know
Yeah.
your name sometimes.
We see you
But
looking
that's
into the
okay.
restaurant. Come on in.
Come on in.
Don't be
These
shy.
ingredients is fire.
Come on
They
in. I
fire.
won't hurt you.
We ain't gonna hurt you.
He
We
won't.
might nibble, but we ain't gonna bite.
You are young catchphrases, Lord. Well, yeah, shout out to Miss Mildred, Miss Judy, and Miss Denise.
Miss Denise.
Miss Denise. But yeah, y'all know where to find us. Search Daddy Daughter Dishes on social media, YouTube, wherever you can search for something. I'm sure we're on there. And let us know how you're enjoying the podcast. I know y'all listen to the end because I look at the stats because y'all stay for these good dad jokes. So while you are listening to the dad joke, just go and leave her up. You can just say, "Man, my favorite dad joke was the one about the pirate secondhand shops," and that would make my day. So, you know, you know what I do have for you today.
What you got for me?
I have a dad joke fresh out of the oven.
Fresh out the oven?
Yep.
Well, give me a slice.
All right. This is funny that Next week is Diarrhea Awareness Week. Runs until Friday. See y'all next time.
Hey, y'all be good. If you can't be good at it.